But anyway, let's talk about other stuff instead, I guess. Hostile work environment. You won't let me just talk about Cleveland show, making me talk about JRPGs.
That's right.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
I'm Maddy Webben.
And I'm Anthony Lerma.
And today we will be doing part, I think it's 6. 6 might have been last week.
I believe it's part 7.
Part 7 of Suikoden 2, which covers the Neclord side quest. It's a main quest, side quest. It is a diversion from the normal plot. It ends up moving us forward, but it is everything post the death of Luca Blight up to killing the Neclord. But before we get to all of that, how is everybody's week?
I played Elden Ring.
As we said last week, you get to talk about Elden Ring. You can talk a lot about Elden Ring because we did it without you last time.
I fought just today. I fought a giant, scary humanoid bird thing called the Death Bird. It has an attack that can kill me in one shot. Whoa. So it was a scary fight.
I saw a post on Twitter that was like, yeah, I'm playing a lot of Elden Ring, and is there really even a point to putting numbers into stats into HP? Because it seems like a lot of enemies just one-shot you, or they get you in these, like, fucking wombo combos, or they, like, maybe a boss will kill you in 3 hits, and if you upgrade your HP, it'll still kill you in 3 hits. Does that reflect your experiences?
No.
Huh, alright, I don't know, maybe this person needs to get good.
The Deathbird, I think, is the only boss that had a inescapable combo that would kill me in one shot. Margit, the Fell Omen, certainly had combos that could kill me, but usually they were theoretically escapable.
What did you get for killing the Deathbird?
I believe if it's escapable, that's technically a mix-up.
From the Deathbird, I got a talisman, which increases my attack power when my HP is low. But when my HP is low, I'm running away, so I don't think I'll use it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I never equip that shit. It's like, bitch, I don't want to just hang out with my HP beezing low. Ideally, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever used anything like that was when I was playing Final Fantasy VII and I was getting my butt kicked, and then I watched a speedrun of Final Fantasy VII and I was like, oh, if I use Tifa's Power Soul and this bullshit, then she can deal 99999 damage 6 times per hit. So gonna cheat and do that.
Yeah, it can be fun for like game breaky strats, but like for regular, like if you're doing it on purpose, right? But for regular game playing, it's like, look, man, either this is an occasional bonus when I'm already about to die anyway, in which case I'm probably about to die anyway, so how am I going to make use of it? Or it's like, oh, I need to intentionally stay in the low HP zone, and I'm too much of a coward for that, so...
Yeah.
Yes. However, it took me so many tries, dozens of tries, to beat Margit, the Fell Omen, which is sort of the first major main story boss. However, the second major main story boss, Godric the Grafted, I beat first try.
Hell yeah.
To be fair, there is a helper NPC you can summon, and I summoned her for my first try because I was like, I just want to see what he's doing. I just want to, let him attack her for a bit so I can see what his attacks are like. Mm-hmm. And she was a lot better than I expected, but also I feel like I was playing well.
Nice. So what I love about the Soulsborne from Soft games
that you famously played,
play is 9 times out of 10 people be like, yeah, I fought a monster called cool ass name, the cool ass subtitle, but then the 1 time out of 10 you fight Deathbird.
Yes, I love it.
You know, I was looking at like, not like actually reading up the lore, but just like, you know, looking at all the conversation about this game, and it seems so funny because they made such a big deal out of like, oh, we brought George R.R. Martin in to do some like world building and stuff, and now I've not played the game either, but to me, everything I've seen, I'm just like, did he roll up and they're like, yo, George R.R. Martin, we're so glad that you're here to help us and come up with all kinds of original ideas from your brilliant mind, and he's like, all right, I got it all worked out. You don't need to do anything. I got the whole lore figured out. But I gotta say, it's actually gonna be a little bit different than the normal stuff that I write. I'm actually really inspired by this game called Dark Souls. What I'm saying is, it's like, even though apparently some other guy wrote all this shit, it's like, I'm like, this is the same shit. This is just like Dark Souls shit. It's great.
Yes, the plot is, and this is very relative, the plot is more present in this game than it is in other Dark Souls games.
Gotcha.
But if I had just played this without knowing it's from the minds of, plural, of George R.R. Martin and what's his first name? Or given name? Miyazaki. Whatever his given name is, Miyazaki.
Hidetaka. Yes.
If I didn't know that, I would assume it was just a regular FromSoft story. I would not be like, this seems like they got someone for this.
You'd be like, damn, FromSoft put more cutscenes in this one.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's great, all the lore and shit. I'm sure there will be 12-hour videos explaining it.
Yeah, like you play Dark Souls, you know, you play demons in Dark Souls where it's like, oh, what's first boss in Demon Souls? A bunch of disgusting gloops. Oh, what's this one boss in Dark Souls 2? Oh, it's just, what if there was a bunch of gross rats? What about this other boss? Oh, it's the guy with the sword. Or like, oh, this monster, it's like, you know, what if a dragon was like necrotic and falling apart and kind of looked like a vagina? And then George R.R. Martin is just like, all right, guys, what if a monster was gross? And what if there was a bunch of fucking rats or like gloopy blobs? And I'm like, damn, you're really innovating here, dog.
Yeah, like Godric the Grafted showed up and he's just like a guy that has a bunch of arms grafted onto him, and I'm like, yeah, that's just regular FromSoft shit.
That's just the boss from Dark Souls 3.
As you guys joke, though, really what's going to happen is that it's going to be a dot hack Aurora situation, and book 6 and 7 are in the game. And really, when you meet Aurora, she's going to reveal what happens. But it's going to be years later.
DLC. Instead of like a Star Wars trailer being revealed in Fortnite, it'll be The Winds of Winter or whatever it's called being released as Elden Ring DLC.
It's gonna happen. I mean, why not? He can't do it. He'll never release them, so he'll do it that way.
I forgot that there were 2 books left, which makes it extra hilarious.
Oh yeah. And he just consults on everything, and he has no time to write. The ultimate troll. It's great.
Look, I understand. Whenever I don't want to do the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, but also don't want to feel like I'm unproductive, I just come up with some other hustle and do that instead. That way it's like, see, I was productive with all kinds of stuff. Just not the one thing.
Wait, I think I figured out what happened with Elden Ring.
What?
Someone lied on their resume at FromSoft and said they were really good at English, and they've just been working at FromSoft this whole time. And then they were like, oh, we've got a meeting with George R.R. Martin. Hey, you're really good at English. Come translate for us. And he was like, okay. So he was just making up what George R.R. Martin was saying. So that's why it's regular FromSoft shit.
Meanwhile, George R.R. Martin, who has probably never played a video game in his life, plays the game and is like, wow, y'all took some liberties with what I said, but I really love your interpretation of what I said. I guess that's just how it is in video games, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
Adaptation is a complex art form, you know?
Yeah, he's like, I said politics and armies, and you said goop monster, and like I can see the correlation
the goop
there.
monster is a metaphor, or even better, everyone starts to read The Winds of Winter finally comes out, and it's like, Bernard, please give me a single character from Song of Fire and Ice that I can make this joke.
Daenerys.
Arya Stark.
Okay,
she's Arya Stark because she's cooler.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, you start reading it, and it's like, yeah, and then Arya Stark did a dodge roll and used her iframes to get out of the way of the enemy's attack.
She developed a really strong blood loss build.
So yeah, then Arya fought turd dragon, the horrible.
There actually is a character mentioned, and I presume will be a boss later, named the Loathsome Dung Eater.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. People were talking about Dung Eater. That's the when I really was like, damn, George is really shaking things up.
Yeah.
No shade on any of these people. I haven't read a single Game of Thrones, but Bernard, who has good taste, tells me that the first book is good. And
yeah, I've just read the first book, but it's great.
Yeah. No shade on any of these people. I would imagine that perhaps these two different artists might just have similar tastes.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine Miyazaki and Martin just getting real excited, just talking to each other and just saying, and what if a monster was gross in this way? And what if a monster was gross in this way?
Yep. Sam, you were going to say something?
I mean, George R. R. Martin is the guy who wrote a short story. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it was him, wrote a short story whose whole thing was, what if a dude was shaped like a pear? Wouldn't that be fucked up?
Nice.
I'm going to Google, make sure The Pear-Shaped Man was written by George R. R. Martin. Yes, it was.
Nice.
But besides Elden Ring, has anything else happened to anybody else this week?
I had some annoyance this week. I think I mentioned last time that I wasn't sure when I was going to be starting my my driving now that I have passed my training. And turns out, yeah, I don't know. I went back to normal style work. I was going to go during the daytime and go to the manager of the driver's office and just say, hey, I'm one of the new drivers. What's up? I was going to do that today, but not last night, Monday night, when I was at work, my foot started hurting again. I didn't tell you all this, but I was having some foot pain a week or two ago, and then I dropped a big box on the foot, and it got to have more foot pain, but it was already hurting before I dropped the box on it. Anyway, I figured, like, hey, it's just hurting because I've been working hard, you know? So I bought a Dr. Scholl's thingy for my feet, and I also had a whole week of not working because I was sitting on my butt doing Zoom meetings. I figured, you know what? I'm probably going to be fine. But then Monday night, my old wound added again. And then, like, on Tuesday, I was at the grocery store and was, like, really kind of hurting just walking around the grocery store. So I was like, all right, I need to actually get this looked at. But Kaiser won't look at it. That's my health insurance because it's a work-related injury. I should have just lied and not told them that. But since it's work-related, they're like, no, you got to go through your work. So I go through all that, and anyway, whatever. A bunch of shit happened, and I ended up having to go to a clinic at 8 a.m. this morning, which is way too early. And then they just told me it just seems like typical type stuff, and just, you know, ice and ibuprofen and all that. And they were going to do an x-ray, and then it didn't work. And whatever. All that matters is my foot hurts, and I want it to stop doing that. Also, my sleep cycle got all messed up because I got sent home early and then had to wake up early, and it's annoying. So like I'm just like very sleepy right now. But other than that, everything's chill.
Nice. I rebuilt a DMG last night, and it worked, and I feel very proud of myself.
Near Gollid.
Yes, a original 1989 fat ass Game Boy. For those who don't know,
shit.
Why are they called DMGs?
I've never heard it called that.
Oh, weird. That you haven't even heard that.
I just called it OG Game Boy. I mean, I have one.
Yeah. The model number on the back is DMG01, and sometimes you get extra numbers for later revisions. But yeah, so the DMG is the pre-pocket Game Boy, and cool. Their digitizer or whatever that tells the pixels to turn on can fuck up because these things are 35 years old. So they cause vertical lines where just a whole line of pixels doesn't work, and you can fix it by taking it apart, getting a really hot soldering iron, and kind of just touching the bottom of the screen. And it's really scary because I feel I'm going to melt the entire goddamn Game Boy. Mm-hmm. But you touch the bottom of the screen very carefully, and it'll reflow the solder and fix the contacts and turn the screen back on and make it work. And so I had posted on Nextdoor, I'm like, hey, I want to get into video game repair, so if you have any old broken junk, you can give it to me, and I'm going to poke around with it, see if I can fix it. And so somebody had an old Game Boy, and they're like, the screen doesn't work at all. And most of them have like that have gone bad, have like 2 or 3 on the edges. This was like the whole screen was fucking was fucked up, and it took me forever. I thought I wasn't going to be able to get it at all because it seemed like it just wasn't fucking working, but I eventually got the whole thing fixed, and I've been playing Mary-Kate and Ashley Skid a Clue, which is the best Lost Vikings clone on the Game Boy.
That sounds great.
I'm not even like being hyperbolous. I stumbled
a licensed Mary-Kate and Ashley game that's Lost Vikings sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, I stumbled upon that game at my friend's house way back when I was like 11, and it has never left my brain. I'm just like, when I got the Game Boy from him, I didn't have any games, and so I'm like, oh, let me go over to Pre-Played, see what like cheap games they have. And so I looked, and they had Mary-Kate and Ashley Skid a Clue. I'm like, fuck yeah, best $4 ever. Also, I would like to spend $35 on Dragon Warrior Monsters, please. So, I walked in for a $5 game, and I paid $40 for 2 games.
Hell yeah!
Sam,
oh no, you go.
Dumb question. How do you tell them apart, Mary-Kate and Ashley?
So on the game, because this is a black cartridge, so it's better on the Game Boy Color. They're wearing different color shirts on the Game Boy Color.
Okay,
that's super easy there.
That's why that was my big question. I was like, it's not color. How do you tell them?
On the DMG, the one who can flip switches, I think is Ashley. I don't actually remember. The one who can flip switches, her hair is like squared off on the back, and the one who can jump really high has more like shoulder length rounded hair. So you still can tell the difference, but you basically just they're in order when you press select to switch through them, and so you just memorize the order and go from there.
Imagine that marketing meeting where someone has to present the designs to both of them, and they're like, I don't know if my character would have rounded hair.
Yeah.
One other fun thing happened to me. I've been doing this. Long story short, there was something that happened on Monday. This labor solidarity action that I was sort of supposed to be bottom lining, which means making sure happened and organizing various tasks for it. But last week was really difficult for me, and instead of doing the smart thing and delegating the tasks to someone else to do, I simply didn't do them or delegate them, and they just didn't get done, which is bad. That's bad organizing. I shouldn't have done that. But I still managed to, very last minute, get like 8-9 people or so to get on a Zoom call, which is very minor. That's very minor. It's not up to what I was trying to put together. But turns out, and I won't say details because of confidentiality, but basically it was a union bargaining meeting for some union. And I don't know if you know this, but random people from the public don't normally show up to union bargaining meetings. But in this case, we did. Not that we're actually random people. We're working closely with these people, but like we're not in the union, right? Basically, the management side of things freaks the fuck out. And we're very, very upset that we were there. And it was kind of awesome. And the lead negotiator for the union was very badass. He was like, are you going to tell us that we can't decide who we want on our bargaining team with us? Because we can have anyone we want. Go fuck yourself, basically. He didn't literally say that, but I was very in awe. And all of us are just like, we were just going to sit here and say, we support these guys and hope that you will work with them to have a good contract. And, I mean, we're obviously there to exert pressure. We're there to kind of be like, hey, we're the community members. We got our eye on you kind of situation. But the degree to which, like, they literally freaked out and said, we need to caucus about this, which meant they had to leave the meeting for 20 minutes and talk amongst themselves about what they were going to do about us being there. So the moral of the story is, sometimes just 9 people showing up on a Zoom call can make a big difference, because I really do think it really put them on the back foot, and I hope that it actually was a meaningful action that everybody will that the union like appreciates that we were there. So I was feeling like kind of a loser for not doing as good of a job as I wanted to in organizing this action, and then even the relatively minor thing that I managed to put together had a significantly larger impact than I expected. So, never, if you see an opportunity in your life to help out, workers in any kind of workplace class struggle, sometimes a little bit goes a long way. So don't think, oh, I'm just one person or I'm just 5 people. What can I really do? Because sometimes it really matters. The end.
Nice. What about you, Anthony? What was your weekend?
So, one person who thinks that they can accomplish everything, Batman. I watched Batman, the Batman. It was good.
Good. I was thinking about going and watching it this week because I'm on vacation, and I am unfortunately a weakling, and I don't want to be away from my family for 3 hours on my vacation because I want to be with my kiddos.
It's kind of gay.
Yeah, it's real fucking stupid of me. I hate them all day. I'm just like, God damn it, leave me alone for 3 hours. And yet, I'm like, I can't be alone for 3 hours.
How was Robert Pattinson?
He was great. I went into the movie going like another one, and I was like 3 hour runtime. Endgame wasn't even this long, and then it kind of touches on a lot of stuff. Introduces sort of the same old. You didn't watch the Pearls die or his parents die. Spoilers. Sorry, I should have said it first. But that scene where they kind of build his like ethos, you're kind of in it, which I liked. And the jokes far and few between, but we're there, and they kind of go that cringe like haha Batman humor. I thought the Riddler's puzzle.
Shit, it really is 176 minutes. Wow. I heard that it was long as fuck, but I didn't think it was that long as fuck. That makes me even more excited. I love it when movies are really goddamn long.
The only complaint I have is the Riddler's puzzles are very easy. If your game is the Riddler, come on. Come up with some more difficult puzzles. That's all I'm saying. If that's your whole shtick, I get it. If maybe you're like getting lazy and you're just like, no one's really solving these anyway. But it seems like Batman consistently solves your puzzles. So at least up the difficulty at some point. I don't know.
If a dude is if I'm doing a fictional media and it's got riddles in it, I'm expecting some like Lord of the Rings shit where it's like impossible to solve riddles because I'm not a fucking psycho. And then the hero is like, here's the solution to the riddle. And I'm like, that's stupid. How did you figure that out? That's dumb.
It's in the same vein as Da Vinci Code, and I've only seen the movie, never read the book. But the girl who is Amelie, I don't remember her name. I'm trying to remember her name. I don't. She has this advanced degree. They'd say she's a doctor of wordology. And then it's like, how do we solve this clue? And she's like, hold it to a mirror. And it's just the word spelled backwards. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why bring up all this exposition that she could do all this stuff when you just hold a fucking word to a mirror?
Yeah,
not a puzzle.
I love when I'm experiencing a media and the writer or creator of that media needs a puzzle to exist, but they are not puzzle crafters because and it always super glares at me because they, of course, make it in universe. No one can figure it out. So I'm currently reading through The Wheel of Time, and the good Aes Sedai mages are hiding out in this town called Saladar. And so the town of Saladar, they talk in code, and they talk about their friend Sally Dara. And Sally Dara is the most secure password in the entire world, and every single person like, who the fuck are they talking about? Anyways, let's continue up and walk straight past this town of Saladar, which is obviously not Sally Dara, and just keep on our own fucking business. No one will ever find the good guys and see where their hideout is. It's fucking stupid. It pisses me off every time it comes up because you're in, it's like point of view characters, you're in the people's heads that don't know it, and they're just like, what the fuck are they talking about with Sally Dara? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yes, it fucking does. It's not a good goddamn puzzle. It's frustrating.
The puzzle this week, I think, it's when you're fighting the stone golem and you have to move that one box, and I'm just like, these fucking dungeons. I'm with Maddy. These dungeons are just like, they gave up. I don't know, like they just make them for no reason. Like they have no rhyme or reason. Like the treasures you get aren't even that great. Like, has anyone gotten any like amazing equipment in any of these dungeons? That's one thing.
Yeah. Only this week you got a whole bunch of heal yourself every turn equipment, which is real good.
I like the dungeons in this game.
Sorry, Burnock.
Well, good. I'm glad you do.
I did find it hilarious. I was like, hey, remember how pushing crates is a mechanic in this game, technically?
Definitely hasn't been used.
You haven't done it since we tutorialized it 20 hours ago?
Oh, hey, before we get on to the actual game, real quick, did anybody actually watch State of Play? And is there anything I need to be aware of?
Yes. Valkyrie Profile 3 is coming.
Oh, yeah. Love that.
That's fucking great. There's a new tactics IP from Square. The gameplay looks way better than the cutscenes, which look way better than the fucking title. The title is like the
Diofield Chronicle.
The Diofield Chronicle. It's
I heard
dumb.
that. Yeah,
Diofield Chronicle.
I literally just said it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's hard. That doesn't mean I'm going to know exactly how to spell it.
Yeah, and then
for example, I just mistyped it on Google by one letter, and Google did not know what I was talking about.
And then Capcom has a new game where the sky rains dinosaurs, so people have to get inside of mech suits to punch dinosaurs really hard. And that looks stupid, but really fucking cool. And
I'm worried it's going to be a live service game.
It looks like it might be. But then also Frank Cifaldi's video game museum company, the ones that did the Mega Mans, are doing a 12-game Ninja Turtles collection, which is fucking cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. And I think there was one more, but I can't remember it.
There were new trailers for Ghostwire Tokyo and Forspoken and not Final Fantasy 16.
Nope.
Damn. Yeah, I'm sure. I figured if it was one of y'all or both of y'all would have hollered at me. So I figured. Also, I figured not Dragon Quest 12.
Oh, they're adding co-op and new content to Returnal, and I'm like, that's really cool. I don't want to play Returnal again because playing Returnal was like the most stressful week of my life.
You're like, cool, great, never playing that again. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
It's probably my game of the year that year. I'm not playing it again.
Mm-hmm. Why would you subject yourself to that? Cool.
But
Good. See, I didn't need to watch it.
Definitely look up that trailer for Valkyrie Elysium, I think is what they're calling it, but it's an action RPG Valkyrie Profile 3 game. So
hell yeah.
It's more like Valkyrie Profile than Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume, which was their tactics game on the DS. So it looks good. Want to know what else looks good? All these bespoke Nanami animations we got this week. Folks. So let's talk about those. All right, Maddy, take it away.
Alrighty, as usual, there we go. I am now scrolled to the correct part of my notes. When we last left our heroes, a lot had happened. We killed the main final boss of the game when the game was over. Just kidding. We killed the main final boss of the game and thought everything's fine. But then our friend / maybe enemy became the king of Highland. Now, we don't actually know if he's bad. We understand dramatic construction. But last time we checked, our old childhood friend Joey just wants to make things better and stop the war, and now he's the king of Highland. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And to be clear, we, the player, know this. No one in our party knows this yet. It happened in a cutaway scene to the player. So that's where we left off. So Toby awakes in our castle. Nanami says we've been asleep for a week, just due to pure exhaustion and also our injuries suffered in battle. Not anything like terrible. The Highland army has withdrawn, and everyone is hoping for the best. Nanami says that she wants to spend some time with us. It's been a while since we've really talked. She wants to explore South Window and also Couscous. We get to run around freely and probably do some recruiting. Lol. I said probably because I didn't. Eventually, we get to Couscous, and a ship from Highland arrives. Cool. And who should disembark but... ... Colgan. Now, I want y'all to correct me if this next sentence is wrong. I wrote, recall that Colgan was one of the people aligned with Joey against Luca. That's correct, right?
Yes. Okay, Colgan and Seed were the two people that covered for him.
This game's got a lot of characters, folks, and not just 108 Stars of Destiny, also a lot of other characters, so I do have trouble keeping them straight. So Colgan tells us that he's now the commander of the 3rd Division, and he also tells the party what we already know, which is about the wedding and how Joey is now the king of Highland. Everyone is very shocked, not just that their friend is now the king of Highland, but that their old friend got married. They didn't even know he had a girlfriend. So everyone's like, is this good? It turns out it is, because Colgan says that Joey wants peace. He pulls out a letter, and he says, I need to deliver this letter to Toby, who is right in front of him. However, it's really not good form to deliver like an extremely official, important diplomatic letter like on the dock in front of a boat. So we're going to escort him back to the castle so that he can, deliver it all proper, like a good diplomat. Which I thought that seems like some kind of weird trap, but it's not. It's normal, actually. So he asks, just spoiler alert, it's normal. So he asks Nanami to wait here while he and Toby return to the castle. So at first...
Wait, Nanami waits at Couscous?
I wrote this a while ago. Did that not happen?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
He's not talking to Anonymous. He's talking to his soldiers. I'm following along in the Let's Play.
That's right. Cool. He said something to Anonymous, but I must have got mixed up. Whatever. At any rate, it doesn't matter anyway. So.
One thing I did like is that he did say that Joey wanted both of them at the wedding, and for obvious reasons they weren't invited.
Yeah,
which is like a nice narrative to like throw like that Joey's still your friend, feeding them. It was really good, I thought, because I was like, oh wow, this is like unexpected. Okay.
Yeah, I was really curious as to where this is going to go. Like, I mean, again, we all understand that dramatic construction. We know the game's not over yet, but like, it could have been that. It could be Joey wants peace for real, and we sign a peace treaty, and then something else happens with the plot, right? Anyway,
because Luca was trying to summon a big ancient demon, it could totally be that Joey was like, "Yeah, let's end the war," and we show up there to end the war, and then the demon breaks out, and we have a JRPG final act. But
yeah, exactly.
Totally.
But at any rate, so we all go back to the castle. At first, everyone's like, WTF, what the hell is Colgan doing here? Let's get his ass. But we're like, okay, chill, everybody, he's cool. And Colgan explains the sitch. He's like, yeah, no, Joey wants to sign a peace treaty with the city-state. Normally, a peace treaty would be signed with the mayor of Muse, because Muse is the capital city of this country. But that's obviously not doable right now. Pull that collar. So instead, Joey figures, instead of signing a treaty with the mayor of Muse, I'll sign it with Toby, the lord of the state army, and also Teresa, the sort of mayor of Greenhill, right? Good enough, good enough. That they're as good as leaders as we can really hope for in this situation. So he asks us both to travel to Muse, where Joey awaits. So then he exits. So obviously it was a very contentious request. Everyone understands that it could easily be some kind of trap. But on the other hand, Highland is currently pretty weak, having just been owned by us. Though I will mention, we didn't really own them. If you recall, our gambit to defeat a much larger army was to take out their leader. So we didn't really beat the shit out of the army or anything like that. Though, of course, I'm sure they're rather disorganized right now and probably not, they're definitely on the back foot is what I'm saying. So since Highland just got owned by us, they are on the back foot, so it could be a legit peace treaty. On the other hand, even if it is, with our current momentum, we could probably just go and retake Muse and Greenhill by force. Olive Branch be damned. And furthermore, it was Highland what broke the last treaty, so they can't be trusted. So there's a lot of factors here that various characters voice. Eventually, Teresa says, let's just ask Toby what he thinks. Whatever Toby thinks, I think we should just do that. And this is a very obvious but thou must. I believe the two options are I'm going, or ... So it's not even a but thou must, which is kind of characterful, It's like we don't even have the option of saying we're not going to. That's not what the game is going to present to us. So anyway, we say we're going to go. Teresa says if Toby's going, I'm going. Also Nanami. Also Chaco. I don't know why. Just someone. One of the which character says we need to bring Chaco?
Shu tells us to take
Flick or Shu. Yeah,
Shu tells us to bring Chaco. It's his plan, as we see later. So he wanted our winged horde member to be able to fly back and tell us this shit what's up.
But he says it just for no reason though. He's just like, bring Chaco, and we're like, okay.
At this point, we've learned to just do what she says and not expect an explanation.
Yep. It only went bad that one time. So we had to.
I thought it going bad that one time was part of a bigger scheme.
You're right. That was all part of it. You're right. So anyway, we head to Couscous, and everyone is. Although, okay, hold on. What's going bad? Was everything going wrong really part of it, or did everything go wrong and then he managed to salvage the situation? Oh yeah, it was totally the plan. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that that's a possibility that anyone can do that if they're smart enough. So we head to Couscous, and everyone is wishing us farewell as we board the boat. Shu also, as an aside, tells Victor and Flick he has a favor to ask of them, but we don't see what it is. This reminds me of the famous Roger Ebert bit, which is in a heist movie. If you have a montage or a scene of all the characters planning the heist, that means that it's going to go horribly wrong. And if you don't see the characters plan the heist, you just know that they have a plan, then it's going to go off perfectly. Because that's dramatic tension, right? If you know what's going to happen, then it doesn't happen. But if you don't know what's going to happen, then you're surprised when it does. So, because we see what Shu's plan is, we can assume it's probably going to work out. So we get to Muse, and we reminisce a little bit with Nanami. Like, wow, it sure has been a long time since we've been here, you know? Some guards tell us that Joey is up on that hill, what is used for important things, such as signing peace treaties. Chaco's like, damn, so this is Muse, huh? Haven't been here, never been here before. And he runs off to explore. Oh, okay. So we have our we climb up the hill and we go into the big hall, the big meeting hall at the top of the hill, and we have our long-awaited reunion with Joey. But, surprisingly, as our party walks in, the only people in there are us, our party, Joey, and his head general, Leon. Teresa says what I was thinking. She's like, aren't we here to negotiate a peace treaty? Where's, like, tables or chairs or, like, anyone else or, like, a recording secretary?
Whoops. Craig, our recording Discord bot, crapped out on us and cut off a lot more than we thought they did. So we restarted the recording, but we missed the, most crucial twist of the week. So when we get into the room, there are no treaty preparations. And Leon says, that's because you will surrender completely. There are no terms. Nanami says, but Joey, we always thought that you were going to dismantle the establishment board by board from the inside. And he says, I was, but things got a lot more complicated. Then Maddy talked about how she believes that Joey's being sincere and that he's learned something new that's turned him to the dark side. I then said that I agreed and talked about how he left the amulet with the fireflies in it as a calling card for Luca because the whole thing was just revenge for Luca killing the fireflies and then Pilika's family. Bernard then remembers, the amulet was the one that we went and got for Pilika, which then leads us into this next bit of podcast.
Wait, when did we give Pilika the necklace? Can someone remind me? I don't remember that.
When we met Pilika, she was like, hey, can you go buy this wooden amulet for my dad? I saw it in Muse. I really wanted to give it to him for his birthday or something. So we buy the amulet for her, and then we get back and her parents are dead.
Got it. Okay. That's sort of familiar. Okay, that makes sense.
It was one of those fun video game things where they give you a silly little side quest that, of course, it does have like personal and emotional meaning. So it's like not like it's pointless. But from a structural standpoint, it's like, oh, you're getting me out of the town so that when I come back, you can be destroyed.
Yeah.
Sometimes something's got to happen off screen, so you got to get the character off the screen.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely believe that Joey has learned something to make him be on the side of the bad, and he was not trying to be bad until he became king.
Yeah. So anyway, Joey tells us again, he says, surrender or else. He says, Nanami, I'm sorry, but I'm now the commander of the Highland Army, and, Toby here's the commander of the State Army. Friendship's got nothing to do with it. Suddenly, Victor runs in to save us. Also, he brought Pilika, which seems like a weird choice. He tells us to run away, and we start to run away. Leon is like, hey, all you archers, shoot them until they're dead. But then Joey calls them off. He says he could not possibly... Huh?
No, I was just going to say, Victor comes in and then throws Pilika's sprite at Joey.
That is true, yes.
I mean, I'm sure she ran up to him, but it just looks like he's like running up and then she just tosses her at him.
I hadn't thought about that, but like honestly, that is 100% what it looks like happens. Yeah, and like more than that she ran to him, honestly. But anyway, either way, yeah. So Pilika runs up to him, and I'll come into that in a second. So basically, he's like, I can't order a bunch of archers to murder my friends in front of my surrogate daughter figure. And yeah, Pilika, I said here, Pilika runs up and gives Joey a big hug. Leon says, that by letting them get away, you're just prolonging the senseless war. And he's like, I know, but what am I supposed to do, man? Anyway, Pilika, in a heartwarming little moment, has finally found her voice. She says, she basically says, Joey, I missed you so much. I was so lonely, etc., etc. So we cut outside the room. We have escaped. We run away. We fight some easy battles, like we always do in these situations. A bit of shenanigans happens, but I'm going to condense it here because there's actually a decent bit today. Basically, yeah, Chaco has opened the gates of the city. They locked the gate to trap us, but he found a way to open them because he can fly and all that shit. So, hey, thanks, Chaco. Naonami asks what the hell Victor and Pilika are doing here, and basically, as my co-host mentioned earlier, Shu totally predicted all of this happening, and Pilika was brought so that she could do exactly what she did. Flick arrives with the army, and they escort us back to our castle. So, wasn't a great peace negotiation, but we did make it out of one piece, and we didn't really lose anything. We didn't.
Except Pilika.
There's really no loss. Well, yeah, except Pilika. But there was no loss of men or army, though perhaps a loss of morale, perhaps. So definitely not a very fun trip, but not the worst thing in the world, all things considered, from a pragmatic standpoint.
One less mouse to feed.
I also like how Naonami still is the game's emotional center, where she confronts Shu and being like, "Why'd you use a child?" And just So and it was good. And I think Naonami's such a great character. Every chance you get, she reacts like a real person in some ways.
I love her.
Yeah, she's really good. Especially when we get so many characters. It's Naonami's a real character. She's always there. She's your friend. And she's really mad at Shu. She's like, how could you use a kid in such an instrumental way, basically? Shu says, look, man, I see you. I hear you. You're valid. But also, Toby is 100% necessary to this effort. He fires everybody. He's our leader. We need Toby. I will literally do anything to protect him, including, use a child in a very cynical, instrumental way. He makes a valid point. So outside the castle, the plot advances. So some dude named Koyu, we've never seen him before in case you're curious, rushes towards the castle basically saying, out of my way, I gotta speak to Toby. We're like, that's us. Hi, it's Toby. Hello. Koyu speaks in a kind of funny, scattered way. He says, oh, thank God, I'm from the stronghold north of Tinto. Please come save my brothers and I. Okay, actually, this dialogue is really good, and also would take just as long to summarize, so I'm just going to read it at y'all. This is a very characterful character. So he says, what great luck. Now I can help my brothers. Hey, Toby, I have a favor to ask. Oops. Oh no, this is terrible. You told me and I forgot. Right, manners. I shouldn't forget my manners. No, myself. What a pain. I'm Koyu, youngest of Lamp Dragon bandits. We're setting up a stronghold north of Tinto. I came to make a request of Lord Toby, who resides here. Please, help my siblings. This is my request. And then Flick's like, okay, what are we going to do? And then he goes, let me tell you, we're the 3 Lamp Dragon bandits. There's my brother Gijimu and sister Lowin and me. We're living a carefree life north of Tinto, and the Highland Army occupied Green Hill and started ruining our area. We couldn't just stand and watch, so we tried to drive them out. They were afraid of us, the three Lamp Dragon bandits, and they ran away once. Just when we thought everything was all right, these strange guys attacked. What could they be? These pale-faced guys that looked like dead people attacked. They die when you cut them, and they don't even say, ouch! So after that wall of text, Victor goes, no, not zombies! And then he says, yeah, that's just what Marlo was saying too. Oh no, now we're done for. That's why I've come here. I, Koyu, bow my head and beg you. I came here to have Lord Toby hear our request. Please help my siblings. That is my request. So yeah, I like Koyu a lot. he has ADHD and takes 4 sentences to say what could be said in 1, just like me. So I like him.
I like the part where he says, I, me, myself, where he's clearly trying to choose a first-person pronoun in Japanese, but that's not a thing in English. So,
oh, that's pretty funny. So anyway, yeah. So basically, they realize, oh, zombies, this is obviously the Neclord's doing. I guess that plot is back. And also they realize...
I want to be clear. In the first game, we did kill the Neclord and the plot line was resolved. Him coming back was not tying up loose ends. It was unfurling ends that were already tied.
Yeah. Also, just to remind everybody, in the first game, which I didn't play, but in order to kill the Neclord, what is it? You need like the magic sword, and then in this game, they're like, oh, it turns out we need the magic sword, and also like the orb or spell or something,
or the other thing.
So those are. So those are 2 things that we need in order to beat him. Last time we fought him.
Mm-hmm. According to Bernard, though, I think, right, Bernard, and I'm speaking for Bernard, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. If you have a rune, like one of the runes, true runes, you don't really age. So these people could live forever.
That seemed to be a thing in the first game. There is at least one other character who has a true rune and doesn't age, and there are 2 other characters who have true runes who it would make sense if they don't age. And I just remembered there's another character in addition to the ones I just mentioned who has a true rune and doesn't age. So it seems to be a general true rune thing that you don't age.
Yeah, and just
but that doesn't mean they can't still just get killed normal style, right?
Yes, they can get killed normal style. But in the first game, we need the Star Dragon Sword to have the power to kill a vampire. I think it's called the Star Dragon Sword. To kill a vampire, and we do it, and it's all good. But then when he comes back in this game, it's like, oh no, he used his special phase magic or something to trick us, and we didn't actually kill him. So now we need something to disable the phase magic so we can kill him with the sword.
Yeah. So we need this extra thing to kill him, like, for real this time, right? And there's a reason why I'm reminding us of all this. Anyway, we realize that the zombies aren't just after some random people in the forest. They're obviously after Tinto. To remind everyone, Tinto is one of the 5 major cities of the city-state of Joustin. It's the one that, up until now, has just completely not responded to any messengers at all. We would love to have them as allies because we all need to work together to beat the bad guys, but they've just been completely non-responsive. So, but now here they are. So obviously the zombies, we figure, hey, the zombies are probably working for the Neclord, and the Neclord is probably working for Highland. He's probably under their employ to defeat Tinto, as part of this war. Anyway, we can't just, but also we can't just up and send our whole army because this town is located like in a deep ravine. That would not be very good tactically maneuver type beat. So we're just going to send a small group to investigate. That way the player can have some agency. So it's us, Victor, Koyu, and Nanami says she's going to because fuck the Neclord is her exact words. So we head out.
This game is rated M.
So we head out and we go to Drakelord Village, which is a small little village where we can talk to farm animals, and also there's a guard checkpoint. Nothing happens here. There is a little scene where Koyu gets us past the guard checkpoint by being like, "Hey, you owe me a solid," but like it doesn't matter. Then we have a dungeon, and then we keep on. That's how I spelled it. So for this dungeon, we keep on traveling, and eventually we get where we're trying to go to their little stronghold, but we run into Gijimu. That's, if you recall, that's one of Koyu's brothers. He basically says it's too late. The zombies rolled in, they owned everyone, We even saw, he doesn't say zombies, by the way. He doesn't know what zombies are. He says the zombies rolled in and owned everyone. We even saw some of our own among the ranks. We had to retreat. We had to cut down and burn bridges and roads to stop them behind us. Koyu's like, what about our other brothers and our sister? He's like, no one knows. Everyone was scattered to the winds, but like, we're all pretty tough people, so I'm sure they're out there somewhere. We realize that the zombies are headed to Tinto. Now, these guys don't like Tinto at all, but it seems that they're going to have to fight alongside Gustav, presumably the leader of Tinto. They're like, oh, we got to fight alongside Gustav. Fine if we have to. So they ask for our assistance. We realize, hey, this is probably a great opportunity to forge an alliance with Tinto that we've been wanting all along. That would be great. So we go to Tinto. There's also another city that we travel through that doesn't matter. So we get to Tinto, and everyone's really fired up. Apparently, since they're, surrounded by mountains, and they never really had any danger or trouble, so that's why they're super isolationist, and also why they're all freaking the fuck out right now, because they're actually in danger by a military force. Not a very new idea for them. So we go and we talk to Gustav, the leader, who, instead of living in like a mansion or castle, is just in a house. This conversation to me was very surprising. Turns out Gustav, despite being kind of a thorn in our side with his isolationist politics, is a super swell guy. He talks in a funny way. He does big guffawing laughs, and he basically is like, yeah, no, we just keep to our own business here, and we ignored the fight against Luca because honestly, I saw y'all's army and didn't think y'all had any chance of winning, so why would we waste time fighting alongside you? We'll just keep to ourselves. But I take back it all. Y'all are awesome. We should totally work together. Let's join up. Let's beat these zombies and then beat Highland. His assistant, Marlowe, shows us to our quarters, and also it's kind of like an admiration of us. He's like, damn, I'm just a shitty little nerd. I'm not cool and brave like you. Heck dang. Did something come of that? I don't remember anything coming of that.
Not yet, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think so. Okay, if it is, I didn't put it in my notes. So the next morning, Ridley and Klaus are there with our army. Hooray. The gang is all here, which is good news because so is the Neclord and his army of darkness. He's like, hey man, what's up? We're like, you're working for the Highland army. And he's like, no, I'm just doing my own thing. He actually says, I thought how nice it would be to create my very own kingdom here in the mountains. Then he says something interesting. He says, you all should leave unless you want to become a zombie, in which case you're welcome to stay. To which the mayor is like, you're going to turn us all into zombies. And he goes, no, I don't want like too many zombies. I don't want to have like zombie overpopulation. I just want to kick y'all out. But like, I could have some zombies if you want. So this is kind of funny. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So then he says, now let us do battle. But then he actually yeets out of there. So typical thing that he does, right? Cool. So he runs off. So we all go and we discuss next steps. At that point, Lords Jess and Hauser arrive. Now, we've never seen these guys before, right?
No, we have.
What? When?
Yeah, they were at the
meeting
at the conference. Yeah.
Yes, and Hauser we only saw at the meeting in Muse, if I recall correctly, and Jess was Annabelle's assistant who sent us to investigate the Highland encampment.
Gotcha. That's important to know. That means that's good to know because it means they're not from here. I thought they were from Tinto. Cool. Yeah, it's funny. Way back when that conference happened, I was like, yeah, there's a shit ton of characters here, but it's too many to remember, so we'll just have to remember them when they become important later. Because I didn't think later was going to be like 5 episodes later. So anyway, yeah, so these guys are some other leaders of other armies. Basically, what they've been off doing, they've been off rounding up refugees and runaway soldiers and anyone willing to fight from all over the country. and they're just like, we're just doing recon, just getting, hey, if anybody want to kick Highland out, come with us, So they've managed to scrounge up an army of 5,000 dudes, which is awesome. And now they're here. But now they're like, wait, what the fuck is Toby doing here? We can't trust him. He's obviously a Highland spy. So then there's this scene that I thought was going to be like develop into some really intrigue, but it's actually just kind of strange. Jess thinks that we killed Annabelle, and we explain, no, that was Joey. We were just like also there. So
Jess did walk in and see us kneeling over Annabelle's body.
True, but I don't know. No one else thinks that we killed her, and we were like, yeah, no, the bad guy killed her. Anyway, so we spend a long time. Anyway, once we say that no, we didn't, and then Gustav is like, okay, calm down, and then that's it. So we spend a long time discussing our strat for beating the Neclord, and then we retire for the night. Jess pays us a visit at night, basically just to tell us he still doesn't like us. Also, he thinks that citizens of the state should be saving themselves, not relying on an outsider. All right, dude. At this point, something very interesting happens. So Nanami visits us at night. We get another really sweet Nanami scene where basically she's like, I never thought our life would take this direction. Things are so hard. I know there's a lot of pressure on you specifically, man. And, don't you remember, back how we used to talk about how we just wanted to have like a little house and live in peace, and how could things have just gone this way, and blah, blah, blah. And then she, pontificates a bit about Joey. And then she's like, what if we just bailed, dude? Like, what if we just bailed right now? Like, what if we just said bye to all this, ran off? And you get to pick yes or no. What did y'all pick here?
I picked no, I'm needed.
I had picked no, I'm needed the first time I was playing it, but as we'll see in a second, I had to replay the section like 17 times. So I later picked I understand, and she's like oh wait, no, I'm thinking about something else, because now that I'm looking at what actually happens, this is cool. This is really cool.
So none of y'all actually saw this.
No, yeah, I did not see.
I'm going to sideline this for now because it'll get in the way of the main narrative. But what I'm going to say here is, if you decide right now, that's why I wanted to see if y'all did it, because I actually did it naturally. I was just hunting around for the butt that must, right? If you pick let's run away, then you do, and it goes on for a long time. And what I ended up doing was I picked let's go away, but then it went on for so long that I ended up going to check a guide to see what the fuck was going on. It turns out that after one or two, if you make one or two other decisions as well after that point, you literally get an ending. You get an ending of the game where the game ends and you ran off and a bunch of people died and you just live in a shack. It fucking rules. And I might come back to it later if we have time. So yeah, but we don't pick that. We're not going down that route. We are heroes. We're playing in character, and we say no, we are needed. And she says, yeah, I understand. Man, you were pretty shocked when I said that, huh? But no, I get it. You gotta do the whole hero thing. So the next morning, we wake up energetic and ready to fucking go, bright and happy, smiling. But god damn it, Jess already took the whole army to go defeat the Neclord without us. Ugh. That's really annoying. So it turns out that a spy had earlier found the Neclord's hideout. We try to reason with both of them, but they don't listen and they head out. We know they're going to get owned, so we follow. Or rather, we don't. Klaus follows. So there's this whole thing where it's like, oh, the Neclord is... You said you know where the Neclord is? Well, how do you really know this where the Neclord is? And they're like, oh, one of our spies found out. And it's like, what if that's wrong info? So basically, we're like, we think these guys are probably wasting their time. But in the off chance they are actually going to where the Neclord is, they're all going to get owned, and the Neclord's going to have 5,000 more zombies because he's going to kill all these guys. But actually, what was I going to say? We and Victor stay home to cover our bases while Klaus follows. The reason we split up is just because, again, there's some confusion as to what really is going on here, right? We don't just want to throw all our eggs in one basket. So we hedge our bets. But then, after not hearing back or anything or getting any info, we pursue anyway. We end up pursuing into a mine dungeon, and we have a mine dungeon, which is fun.
So it's entirely possible that depending on what you do, things play out a little differently, or it's entirely possible you're wrong. What happened for me was I was just like, what the fuck do I do? So I just wandered around town, and I wandered towards the mine, and they were like, something happened in the mine. There was like a collapse or something, and we sent some people in to investigate, and no one came back. And Nanami was like, "We're JRPG protagonists. We'll check it out."
Yeah. I was editorializing basically because it doesn't make any sense to me.
We gotta make it clear when things don't make sense.
Okay. Well, the reason is because later it turns out that this was a nasty trap by the Neclord, so it's like. I was just trying to reverse engineer it. Did y'all feel like the localization was worse this time?
The localization had problems this episode. For instance, there was in the peace treaty scene, I believe there, if I recall correctly, some Joey lines were attributed to Teresa, and I was confused.
Yep, I was very confused. I just steamrolled right over those because I didn't want to get into it.
Yeah. And several times the word kingdom was spelt kind gum.
Yes.
And there were a number of other oddities throughout. Some things weren't entirely clear.
Yeah. There were more times this playthrough where I knew the Japanese phrase that was translated out of context that the person said, and it did not make sense in English. Like there were several times where, like at the end of a conversation, Victor would say something like sounds good or something like that, but it didn't actually make sense for him to be saying that, and it's because it was a poor translation there. So.
Also, I believe there were 2 instances of someone seeing something shocking and saying it's a lie, which is just sort of an unusual thing to say in English. For 2 different people to say it in relative short succession sounds real weird in English.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it probably should have been translated as "No, this cannot be."
Exactly. So I have
no.
I've been trying to paper over these issues this week because I legitimately thought a couple of these plot things just seem to happen. And then after they kind of randomly happened and character said lines that were out of nowhere, I was like, all right, I'm going to write something that seems like it makes sense to me. So yes, my apologies if I get it wrong. Although maybe I'm not getting it wrong. Maybe that's what happened. Who knows? But anyway, looking back on it,
when I take notes, you can be guaranteed if it doesn't make sense in the text, it won't make sense in my text.
So we're in this mine.
For Final Fantasy 13 too.
We're in this mine.
Listen to .hack GU.
Yes. So we're in this mine, and I do now realize what was going on exactly. So using a combination of the game's actual text and my very intelligent brain, I will put this together. So basically we run into Neclord, and we're like, what the hell are you doing here? And he's like, so there's a bunch of mines under Tinto, and I used one to get here. And then what we find out is that he basically had spies implanted in Jess's army. I thought he used those spies to give them false info, which he did. But he also, those spies are how he found out about the tunnels. So basically what we found out here is that the way that he got here to begin with was because of the tunnels that he found out of because his spies. And he's bragging about how easy it was to convince humans to be spies for him, basically. That's not only how he got to the town, but also how he managed to get away earlier when he kind of was like, smoke bomb, and ran off, right? But I realize now, what the plan was that he fed misinfo to the army, so they would go away, so they would leave, so they would just fucking yeet out. Therefore, he, hiding in the tunnel all along, could now have no one defending the town. That's what was going on. I finally managed to piece it together, like, right now. So anyway, we fight him, and it's a fake fight. It's a force loss fight. So he says he's going to show us the power of his rune. It requires the blood of 100 people. So anyway, he does the blue rune curse, and it's got some graphics, and a whole bunch of graphics happened. And then we escape. And then when we get out of the mine, we see, oh no, the entire town has been turned into zombies.
It's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie. I don't know how he managed to do it, but while the army was gone. So see, it turns out that us staying behind to hold down the fort was a smart move because the army was misguided. But anyway, he did magic and everyone's zombies now. That sucks. So we run, we escape. There's some really dramatic sort of filmmaking here where we've been like owned by the magic, and then we kind of black out, and then Nanami like saves us the whole way. Like Nanami really comes to the rescue and escapes the whole town. We black out, and we wake up, and now we are in the village of Crom, which is south of Tinto. So that's
also the worst fucking Fire Emblem character.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we wake up in Crom, and Khan is here. If you remember, Khan is that guy.
Love him. Love him.
He
was here last time.
Yeah, here's the vampire hunter from before, and also from the first game.
I don't think he was in the first game.
Oh, never mind. I was wrong. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so remember how in the first game we had to like do the sword to kill the Neclord, and then it turns out in this game we also need to like get rid of his powerful vampire magic, rune magic, in order to beat him. Turns out we also need to seal the Neclord's soul away, and after we do those 3 things, he'll definitely be dead this time. So luckily, a person in the nearby Tiger Mouse village knows how to seal someone's soul away. So, cool. Let's go. So now we're going to go and do that. So we go to the nearby Tiger's Blood village, and and before we go, I will say, Khan says something like, let's be careful when we get to this person. I've heard they're a little hard to deal with. And we're like, buddy, them and everybody else in this fucking game, all right? So anyway, we get there, and we get to the village, and as usual, everyone in this town is in a big tizzy because the nearby city of Tinto got owned by zombies. Kind of makes sense that they're in a tizzy. And then they're having this big argument with they refer to a hussy. They say, this hussy is one of them. Get out of here, hussy. And we're like, what the hell? Why are you calling someone a hussy? Meanwhile, I'm like, ooh, a hussy? And anyway, there's this lady, this girl named Sierra. She's got a character portrait, so we know she's important. And she says, hussy. She's very upset about being called a hussy. People refer to her as a pale-faced woman, and then she's also a little girl, but then she says, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. No, from my point of view, you are all greenhorns, which is a weird choice of words, again, for the translation, but also that they disturbed her sleep. So I think those of us who have watched movies before can put 2 and 2 together. This young girl,
a werewolf.
That's right. She's a werewolf. You got it. And there's a full moon, so
watch out.
Yeah, but to actually explain it, not because I think any of you listening are stupid, but because I may have explained it poorly, therefore made it impossible for y'all to understand what I'm saying. She's a vampire. She's a vampire just like them. She's pale. She's 1 billion years old, even though she looks like a girl. Whatever. So, actually, kind of reasonable that the villagers are mad at her and want her to leave. It's frankly not particularly ridiculous at all. Khan is like, yo, I'm a vampire hunter. You're after the Neclord, right? And she's like, yeah, I actually hate that guy's ass. He actually stole my moon rune. But I don't want to join up with humans because y'all would just slow me down. Then our talking sword that we'd forgotten about shows up. And is like, then they have an argument because these characters have a lot of energy is all I'm saying. I'm not gonna go into this. I don't like the sword character. I don't think he's funny, so I'm not going to say what he says. I'm just going to keep on going. Eventually, you convince her to join us to go get the Neclord's ass. All right, that's what happens. So after we do that, we do have a bit more talking, and I don't think anything important happens. Let me make sure. Let me go back to my actual notey notes.
No, the next important thing that happens is that everyone gets kidnapped, so we have to go and get the Neclord.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure. I already had it open, so I thought I might as well just scroll. Yeah, so basically we go back to town, and a lot of people got kidnapped, and the mayor's like, oh, my daughter got kidnapped. The daughter that Maddy Grace didn't mention until just now got kidnapped. So we got to go beat the Neclord. That's it. Raising some stakes. So we go through a dungeon, and we fight a boss, and the boss, and then we have another little bit of gameplay, because we get back to Tinto. And then we fight another boss, and guess what? In between those two bosses, we don't get any kind of healing or saving, which Sam knows all about that.
Yeah. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, Sam had a rough time with that. And after all of that, we eventually meet up with the Neclord, and we fight him, and we fight him for real, and we beat him. That's it. So
the scene takes a lot longer than that.
Yeah,
exactly. But I legitimately just did not think it was important. If y'all disagree, y'all can disagree.
In the dungeon, two enemies I really liked were the Unicromby, a zombie unicorn, which is great, and Neclordia. I was just like, oh, so the Neclord now they're female Neclords, but they're called Neclordias, which I liked. I was like, cool.
I mean, Neclordia sounds better than Neck Lady.
Yeah.
True.
And in the dialogue, he mentions that Lo-Main, or whatever the fuck her name is going to be wife number 70. But I fought way more than 70 Neclordias, so I don't know.
Maybe he lost count. There. He seems like a bad partner.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, in the end, we defeat the Neclord, and as far as I can tell, he's dead for real this time.
Let's see if he has a Suikoden 3 page.
An important thing is that
he's not in Suikoden 3, Sam, at all.
An important thing is that the wiki says he dies in Suikoden 2. But an important thing is that he does give up the true rune that he has, gives it to Sierra, and presumably loses a lot of power at that point, and then Victor slices him.
Yep.
Victor's like, oh, I won't slice you if you give her the rune, and he gives her the rune, and then he's like, I'm gonna slice you anyway, because you're a bad guy.
That stone golem is so hard because he hits everybody all the time.
It's a tough fight.
And then you're just like, shit, did I bring enough heals? I was throwing off stuff like sandwiches, anything that anybody accidentally had in their inventory that was healing. I was just like, use that. Hopefully it heals enough. Let's hope.
If you don't have anyone with a water rune, you want to have people with a water rune because you can use Protect Mist, which blocks magic.
That's what Naname's perfect.
Consistently. Yes, and my Nanami has a water rune too.
Yeah, so twice this week I died and did not have good saves, and it made me really upset. And so the first one was when I was catching up. I died on the duel with Luca Blight, and my first time through, like my like threefold fights against him with the 3 different parties. That all went smooth and swimmingly. Like I was kicking his ass, and then I got in the duel and he one-shot me. And that fucking sucked. But in that playthrough, I had gotten the flow rune. It was a rare find at one of the item shops. And what the flow rune does is it's the water rune, but all of the spells are moved up. So you don't have a level 1. You start at the level 2 spell, but you use the 1 MP for it, and that unlocks a fifth level. And I got 2 of them, and I put one on Rina and 1 on Nanami, and it was awesome. But then Luca killed me, and it wasn't at the item shop anymore, so I don't have that, and it made me really fucking upset because that fucked up. I still think of them because I played for like a couple of hours with them as my kick-ass healers, and they're not. And instead of having so because of the rejiggering, Nanami has like I think 9 level 1 MP, and that was the heal everybody for 300. No, but it was 9 protect mists, and then it was her level 2 would be the heal everybody for 300. So it was like super awesome, but I don't have that anymore. And
all you have to do against the Luca Blight in the duel is defend once. And you use defend because that's good against wild attacks, and he's so clearly going to use a wild attack based on what he says.
Yeah, I just wasn't paying no damn attention, and
well, then that's your own fault.
It is my own fault. I just
Bernard's just ready to get you, Sam.
He is. He's coming at me.
But look, all I'm gonna say is I think that I've mostly been the dumb person in the group for a lot of this season. So I'm glad that it's Sam this time.
Yeah, it's definitely me, because we are now past the Harpy side quest, so I am now adequately leveled, which should be fine, except because I wasn't adequately leveled for the rest of the game, I never taught myself how to play Suikoden 2, and so now I'm tutorializing myself on the game, where it's real hard.
Honestly, it's really the loadouts. I mean, in that triple duel battle, I think last week I mentioned I used 2 of the monsters, and that first team was just garbage. But I just go, well, this team's not going to work. I'm just going to keep going and use all their items to hopefully damage as much as they can. But really, it's just about who works together, and it's really hard with this many characters to really find the right ones. Because you have limited equipment, some have runes, some don't, you forget. It's just, it's really a lot to keep track of.
I also ran out of money this time too, which is nuts.
Because you finally got to the blacksmith.
When I got to the blacksmith, all my dudes are selling level 6, and I leveled them all up to level 14 and ran out of money.
If it wasn't for Bernard telling me you can go to that oh man, it wasn't Radat, it's Couscous. And then, me wasting all my money, I had so much money, and then it went down to nothing. I had nothing, and I was just like, this is what I was playing with before. It's so much harder if you don't do the blacksmith stuff, because your hits are so much lower. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we still don't have a blacksmith at the castle, and at this point, I have 98 characters. I don't think we're going to get a blacksmith at the castle.
We do get a blacksmith at the castle, just because I saw it in the wiki, but I don't know if we missed him earlier, or you get him so fucking late that it's not even important. Because now that we have fast travel, we're just going to fucking fly to Tinto and just use that one.
Yeah.
Why go on another side quest for a dude when we can just fast travel to that one? The whole world is our castle now.
At my old school, in Suikoden 1, you get a blacksmith really early on who isn't very good, and then you just recruit more and more blacksmiths throughout the game in order to increase the level that you can smith to at your castle. And that works, instead of waiting until the end of the game to give you a blacksmith in your castle. I
got lost in the castle just a little bit this game, or this episode, and I was just like, holy shit, this castle's gotten 100 times bigger than I remember.
Yeah.
The castle is so big.
And I'm like, how am I supposed to be talking to these people? Do they have like rich lives and dialogue that I need to like engage with any of them? And I'm like, man, I'm not going to do any of this. Bernard, out of those 98, how many do you talk to? Like, really? Who are your real friends?
I mainly bring along Valeria and Anita and Clive with me in battle.
Yeah.
And then my other slot is just whoever is necessary for the plot at the time. However, I have I've recruited a character who I was going to tell you all about later, named George Prime, which is a ridiculous name.
Wait, what?
Who is extremely strong. He's ridiculously powerful. So he is on the path between Neclord and Tigermouth. He's on that path there after you defeat the Neclord. So y'all should go explore that area, try and get him. I don't know if there's prerequisites like needing to have a certain number of recruits, but y'all should try and get him. He's really good.
Okay.
And his name is George Prime.
It's quite the name. Anyway, back to the game. Not much happens. Like I said, we own the Neclord, and we go back to town, and basically everyone is like, "Cool, great job, good job, everybody." And then there's a lot of talking that is cool, and we have a good old powwow with Jess, who was being such a jerk earlier, and it's a rather lengthy it's a rather lengthy talk, but basically he talks about his feelings, and what it comes down to is, he was just super loyal to Annabelle and really mad that she had died, also really mad that like Muse had been owned and all the horrible stuff, and he realized that he was basically taking it out on us and everybody. He was being a big old jerk, but relatively understandable why he was being a big old jerk. He was very, very tunnel vision minded. You know what I mean? In his untrustworthiness and uncomradliness, basically. So anyway, he decides he's going to join us, and so does everybody else. The Tinto army officially joins with us. All of these characters we met this week, they all join us, which is awesome. Which means now our army is about big enough to go toe to toe with Highland instead of always being the short, the smaller army, which is really cool. So we're like, you know what? It's time to really go on the offensive. We've been on the back foot this whole damn time. They find out. Apple has found out that the Highland army is gathering around Muse, and we're like, we don't know what they're planning to do from Muse, but we should just go take Green Hill, because it's not garrisoned by a particularly huge army, and if we strike fast, we can get it. Green Hill is currently under the command of a new general, some guy named Uber, which is a very strange name. Apple says this line that I'm assuming is important, which is why I'm relaying it to you all. Uber has, quote, appeared from nowhere to play a part in several major wars on this continent, and he disappears just as mysteriously. In fact, there are some that say he is not a man at all. Now, I don't know if they mean not a man as in like he's a woman, or like not a man as in he's not a human. Bernard, is Uber in the first game?
Yes.
There we go. Okay, then just tell us, what the fuck is up with Uber?
I don't really remember. I think he was just a bad guy. I think he was just a general on the bad side.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can find anything relevant on the wiki.
Okay, cool. Because that's not any kind of spoiler, because it's anyone who plays this game, or a lot of people who play this game, would have played the previous game. So, anyway. So yeah, we decided we're going to go to Green Hill, and that is where we stop. Instead of saying, yeah, let's go to Green Hill, we say, hold up, and then we go safe, because this is our stopping point for the week. So, Sam, next time's our last one, isn't it?
Yes, we could either do next time as our last one, or we could go like up until the final battle, but because dungeons don't exist until they do in this game, I don't know if that'll even make sense.
I think let's try and do our usual thing where we have 2 more episodes, especially because for this game of all games, because there's so much optional content, it would really give us time to talk about that stuff. And it would give me time to go play some of it because I've been skipping most of it. So, yeah, I think we should do that, and we'll have to play by ear to find out where that save point is, I guess. But anyway, the point is, yeah, that's right. We are getting close to the end, folks. I'm guessing we retake Green Hill either successfully or unsuccessfully, and then there's some big plot twists, and then we're in the end game, and then probably some giant god is summoned to do whatever from another dimension, and then we learn a lot of plot and a lot of backstory from Joey or something.
Okay, so it looks like where we'll be stopping is everybody will be like, we got to go to Le Ratatouille. It's some other French name, but they say it over and over again, and you walk off into the world map. But instead of doing that, we do side quests. Cool,
love it. Let's do that. Cool. So let's switch over to the memorable moments. As usual, I'm going to have to peace out because more than usual, I need my little nappy. So let's switch over, and I'll say like the one that I have, and then I'll leave.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was faster than I expected.
We don't actually play the music, Maddy Grace.
That's right. Well, usually Sam's like, hold on a second. Which is okay. For the record, when I said I'd do the one that I had, I was just thinking I'll see if I have one or not. Y'all go.
Okay. So I have a real cool one. So remember way back in the first episode of the game, we should have gone to Muse, but if you actually go to the Muse Matilda border, you can break the game and do something you're not supposed to, and that's how I got super leveled for at the very beginning. Super cool. This time you can do the same thing. So when so-and-so comes in and is like, hey, Jess is here with all of his army at the front gate. Let's go talk to him. If you instead go inside of any other building, what you do is you break the scripting of the mansion house thing. So when it teleports you there for the next thing, you get soft locked because you're inside of a building and you can't fucking do anything and you haven't fucking saved in like 4 fucking hours and you have to start the whole fucking day over again. Because that happened to me this morning.
Whoa.
Cool. Goddamn.
So if, and especially because I go and I did it on accident and I was soft locked and I thought that it was because I was playing in fast forward and I was like, oh, my bad, I won't do it. So I reloaded and I sped up to get back to where I was, and then I put a save state right before talking to him, and then it happened again because I had gone in to try and go into the inn, but you can't make it to the inn to save there. So I had tried to like prevent it from happening and cause it to happen. It actually happened to me twice in a fucking row of me getting stuck in the soft lock, and I was freaking out. And so I had to play the beginning chunk of this game or this week like 3 fucking times because I hate myself. But
LMAO. I found out that all my memoirs had already been elegantly folded into my regular narration, so I don't actually have any. Cool. I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm gonna take my nappy. Been great chatting with all y'all. Can't wait to play more of it, and see you all on whenever for more Final Fantasy 13 2. Colon. It doesn't have a subtitle. This joke isn't working. Goodbye.
Bye.
This week really leads me to believe that Nanami's gonna die, and because we're getting some really good character beats from her, a lot of exposition. She's in between both the 2 main good/bad guy, and they're not gonna kill Pelica, and I'm just getting really nervous about it. I don't know how this game ends, but to me, that's really it's not a great place for her, just safety wise. So that's probably my memorable moment of the scenes with Nanami, her talking to you, trying to say like not agreeing with war, what's going on, and all these other things that are happening. Yeah, I think that's what pretty much this week.
So Maddy just left without saying the one that she did. So, but I just heard it on the Let's Play, so I will do it. But I really hope that Nanami doesn't die, because I love her, and I hope instead of dying and getting caught in the middle, she like runs in between them and sticks her hands up. I was like, "What are we fighting for?" And solves it that way instead. I hope it's that trope and not the kill your best friend trope. But yeah, so the one that Maddy brought up earlier and said she was going to bring up in Moms and then left before she could say it. So Nanami asks, like, should we just fucking run? And you say,
oh, right.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nanami's like, wait, really? Okay, but I think things will be fine. Like, Victor and Shu and General Ridley are all awesome, so things will work out. And one day we'll come back for Joey, but like, let's just go blow it off until then, and let's leave a note and the blinking mirror so that they can do everything. So then you run away, and a couple of your people come with you, and they're like, look, we'll go to protect you. And so then as you're leaving, you hear that Tinto fell, and and so people keep coming, like talking to you about it, and like shit has been going bad and hitting the fan, and then you come out of, I think you're in Tigermouth Village at this point, and it's overrun with zombies, and you like see people get eaten by zombies, and then Nanami and Toby are surrounded by zombies, and they're barely surviving. And then Marlowe comes up and gets his hero moment, because he survived Tinto by hiding in a chest, and he's like, I don't want to hide anymore. I'm going to fight back. And he makes space for you to leave. And as you're leaving, like, some of the soldiers there are like, what are you doing? Are you trying to escape? I thought you were the head of the Highland Army. And you're like, yeah, let's escape. And then the zombies start to surround you on the road. Then your bright shield rune flashes, kills all the zombies to let you escape, and you barely make it out. And all the way along the time, people come up and they're like, are you sure you want to leave? And you can say no and get back onto the main plot. But if you keep saying, I want to leave, you eventually escape and wake up in a shack out in the middle of nowhere, and Flick and Shu come to like beg you to come back, and you say, no, I won't, I'm happy here. And you and Nanami run off into the distance and find a little house, and it says the end, and that's it. And it's kind of cool that you can just give up on war and get the credits this relatively early in the game, which I think is cool, because every other like dialogue choice this whole game has been like one or two different scenes tops, not an alternate ending. But here it is.
How many do we know? How many alternate? Is there other ones?
Let me see if the Let's Play records anymore. I think this is the only one.
That's pretty. I mean, it just shows the structure of the game and like people making real choices, which I like a lot too.
Yeah, it does look like that is the only alternate ending.
I mean, there are a number of different endings, apparently.
Yeah.
Like end of game endings, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think it alluded to that in one of the walkthroughs I was reading. Sort of to your point, Sam. For those duels, I just read the walkthroughs because they just list all their. If they say this, they're gonna attack this way, and I'm always like, okay.
Yeah, but what I never like I said, I never learned how to play Suikoden 2. My level was always so high that if I did it wrong, they just didn't hurt me. So I just mashed through it. I never tried to figure out like, oh, is this a wild attack or a what? Let me actually engage the mechanic. I just hit okay. So Luca being strong and passed the Harpy side quest, he kicked my ass. And that sucked. But Bernard, do you have any memorable moments?
So in the scene leading up to fighting the Neclord, I got a terrible audio glitch that just played a really loud, high tone, and it was terrible and made me very upset. I loaded my save state in order to go back and try again, and I got the audio glitch again. However, since I was going back a second time, I was able to take screenshots of these lines that there end up being a lot of them, which is why it's memorable. So you and your party, minus Khan, run up to the Neclord, and Victor talks with him a bit and then says, I'll chop you up, grind you up, dry you in the sun, break you to pieces, bury you in the ground, piss on you. Then I'll dig you up, pull you, stretch you, drag you around, and then, in any case, I'll never forgive you. And then a magic seal appears around the Neclord, and Khan runs in and reveals that Victor was buying us time. And I found that scene funny.
It was really good.
I think we already brought up some localization, but I think the Neclord says, instead of saying boar, he says you boor, which is like 2 O's. And I was just like, that's a great way to die. I'm like...
boor with 2 O's is actually is.
Oh, is that the right way? Oh, yeah, I just learned something. I didn't know that.
It means an unrefined, ill-mannered person. So he's not saying you bore me. He's calling him a obnoxious douchebag.
See, I was thinking bore like you pig or something to that. Like he was alluding. But, okay. So I'm wrong. Well, guess I'm going to go kill myself.
Here's a translation issue. There is a short cutaway that Maddy Grace did not mention where we see Joey and Pilica somewhere. Mm-hmm. And Pilica runs in and says, Joey, how do you feel? Do you still hurt? Or something like that. Except she spells Joey differently.
Yeah, she spells Joey phonetically in Japanese.
I don't know if she just was speaking with a weird accent because she's been watching Peppa Pig during quarantine. But yeah, she spells it all weird.
Yeah, it's Joey or something like that. I'm currently checking to see if that is in fact his name in Japanese.
I think they're in Muse, if that scene. I think they're still in Muse.
Probably, yes.
One of the things, too, is, like, I love that because we saw everybody in Muse die with that giant, like, creature demon thing, that the town is empty, and it's just, like, really spooky. Mm-hmm. Like, even though the town is exactly the same, it's the exact same model that we saw, there is some, like, auspiciousness to it, which I liked. And then even going up and meeting Joey, it's just like, this doesn't feel good.
That's not even how you spell Joey in Japanese. Joey is Joui, if they just transliterated it in Japanese. So, no idea what that one was.
Maybe she's speaking a little kid language.
No clue. So alternate character or optional characters you can get this time around are fantastic. So if you go into the woods, you can get a werewolf, and the werewolf gives you well, no, Bob is the werewolf. Badeau is just a you can get a werewolf, but I'm thinking of Badeau, not of Bob. But Badeau gives you 2 listening stones because he's like a shaman or something. He speaks with beasts. So you can use one to get a griffin on your team, and you use the other one to get the unicorn from the unicorn side quest on your team. But them being cool big ass animals, they take up 2 party slots, which is way too much. And I don't even want to use them because I'm like, no, the ability to take 2 more actions seems to far outweigh how good they could possibly be. And maybe I'm wrong, and Feather is fantastic.
Says they suck.
Yeah,
but
they suck. There's even the unicorn, I think, has no good spells. You think they'd have better magic. Typically in the game, I find the most... So there's characters I like, and then there's characters that I like enough and I want to keep playing with them, even if their hit is like whatever, but they're just good back, like they have a long reach, so they can sit in the back and just like hang out and just hold healing items or do like sort of tactical sort of magic. But the people in front are your short range. They either have to be short range with like good magic, or I just won't use them because the magic just hits so hard in this game.
You should use Lorelei if you're not already using her. She is the hardest hitting good magic user.
I don't know where she's early, right? I feel like I have her. I don't know if I am using her.
I just got her this week.
Then no.
So.
Then I don't think I have her. I have to get her. I have to go. Well, I'm gonna get the one Bernard mentioned. I don't remember the name. Gene. What is it?
George Prime.
George Prime. Okay, Lorelei. I'm gonna get both those. But yeah. I think out of the ones, Lo Wen was good. I used him. I liked him a lot. And then Khan, I really like. Oh, is it a she?
Yeah, it's the bandit sister.
Who?
I thought it was the monk. That it's a she.
Who's the monk?
Kintetsu?
No. Wait, I might be getting confused. Hold on. He was the
Chan.
He was the one who was pretending to be you in the town. Hoi. Sorry. Yes, I used Hoi. I liked his attack. It actually worked. He hits really hard, surprisingly.
Yeah. I'm very surprised that all of our parties are massively different, because at this point of Chrono Cross, towards the end, we were using like Fargo and Naked Yelly Man, whatever his name was, and like we were all using the exact same people because they just were better than the rest. But
I think it was
in this game, it does not seem to be the case.
Norris was my ride or die in Chrono Cross, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because he had a gun. I think he had a gun as well. I think I just have a thing with people who can shoot. But yeah, overall enjoying the game. I do agree this felt like the side plot that came out of nowhere, and then but obviously like the implication of going into the new kingdom and getting that alliance.
George without a E, and looking at the katakana, it's pronounced Georg.
Georg. Nice.
Gay Ogre Prime.
Nice. But yeah, anything else before we wrap it up?
I'm good.
I like the name George Prime better.
Me too.
We'll just call him that. That's fine. I'll remember.
All right. So before we close out for the day, want to remind everyone that we have more episodes coming eventually. So you should head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where every person who donates will have access to the poll to tell us what game we're going to be playing next. And the two options are really cool. So the theme this next time around, or for the next two times, is we're going to give you a little taste of our side content, so you can decide if you want to join in there. So we're doing a miniature long cast followed by a miniature short cast. So for the long
miniature
cast,
short cast is a silly concept.
yes, and yet, and so so our miniature short cast is going to be two famous Shin Megami Tensei duologies. So it is either going to be Persona 2, vote for Persona 2, or Shin Megami Tensei 4 and for Apocalypse. So
Have you guys played Persona 2 before?
I never have.
I've not played Persona 2.
It is very hard comparatively.
It's okay. Eli's not here anymore. We can play hard RPGs now.
It's really fun. It's just very hard. That's all I'll say.
Nice. Yeah, and so Persona 2 will be the harder of the ones to play, because you have to play part 1 on the PSP and then part 2 on the PS1. But that's what makes it good. So I hope we do Persona 2. I'm heavily putting my finger on the scale that I really want to play another Persona game for the podcast. So y'all should vote for Persona 2. Which of course,
also want to play Persona 2.
The story in Persona 2 is so good too. Like the whole concept of Persona 3 and 4 and like all of them, it's that dark tone was set by 2 even more so, and the idea of rumors and stories, and it's really good. It's very good. The characters are amazing too.
Yeah, I am putting my finger on the scale for Persona 2, knowing full well that Vimk and Griffin and all of you voting patrons of ours hate me, and therefore we'll probably end up playing Shin Megami Tensei 4. But I'm hoping we play Persona 2, because I'm excited for that. But if you don't know anything about either of those games, they are hard and fun and spoopy. So and they both tell their singular story over 2 games. So that's why they make it good. They're a little too short for a normal long cast, but they're a 2-parter, so they're normally too long for a normal episode. So instead, we're shortchanging the series after that to be about 2 episodes long. So
I have played Shin Megami Tensei 4. I've not played Apocalypse, and I've also played a little bit of Persona 2, and I just feel like Persona 2 would fit talking about on a podcast better.
Yeah. But I am prepared to deal with the logistics if the people really want SMP4. But that will do it for the week. So like I said, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club to get that poll and tell us to play Persona 2. And when you make those donations, you also get access to our Book Club no Kiseki episodes, a whole month before everyone else does. We are back up and running for Kevin Game, and we're super excited for that. So come and check that out. But for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I'm Anthony Lerma.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm sure that will cut together somehow.